Heck yeah! So we got us a Pinot Noir from New Zealand. All right. Pretty cool. Kind of excited about this because I haven't had one of these yet. And I'm always trying to try new wines from new places. So this is the Ara Pathway Pinot Noir from 2011. It is December 2014. So, New Zealand wine. We've had lots of New Zealand white wines, I hope. Like the Sauvignon Blancs and stuff. Incredible stuff. So, I thought, why not try out the red wine and Pinot Noir. There was 3 different bottles of this. This came in at $17, pretty much at the top of my price point. I don't like to go any more than 20 bucks. Because I'm cheapskate and all that. So, had some great wines for $8, $9. And then the New Zealand whites come in pretty. You can get a really mean bottle of New Zealand white wine for about $12. So between $12 and $15, really. So this has been breathing for probably pretty close to 4 hours now. It was quite acidic at first, quite sour. Maybe not so much acidity, but a much sourness to be had here. Some really interesting flavors, though. Ones that I've pulled out of other red wines from like Chile and different areas. A lot of greasy vegetable type stuff going on here, and a lot of like rose hip, that kind of, and a lot of bitterness to this, almost like a mustard bitterness. I've pulled that out of a lot of wines as well, a lot of red wines. So I've done a whole ton of Pinots. I've done a couple that were amazing, but some that were not. It's smelling kind of okay. A little bit weak in the areas where you want it. A little bit of fresh zest, a little bit of vibrance going on. Here's the color. It is transparent, dark, on the darker kind of crimson side, but smelling like there may be some oak involved here, possibly. If not, it doesn't oak like maybe like a stem type tannin from the stems of the vine. It's smelling like it should be kind of okay, but it's not really coming off aroma-wise as fantastic. So it's cleaned up quite a bit with the breathe time, which is pretty typical, but it's just not really quite where you would want it, I guess. And this is plenty old. It's 2011, 2014 now. That should be okay in my mind. I mean, I know how, a couple more years might be okay, but some of these don't want much more than 4 years. I'm not so sure about the Pinot, but certain varietals and stuff, or the thinner body ones that I've had a little bit of experience with. Not that I'm the greatest wine authority or anything by any means, but there is that kind of vegetable aroma and that kind of dinner time aspect to it, kind of a plantiness. It's kind of hard to describe. I'll keep trying for you. It's quite dry into the finish. A little bit of like raspberries, maybe black cherries. A little bit of sourness, a little bit of unripened raspberries and sour cherries. A little bit of pomegranate for sure. Some nice dryness. I'm getting a little bit of oak, a little bit of tannins out of the middle. A little bit of greenness, a little bit of plantiness, like leaves, and That's with air going through. Without air all through the middle, you're just getting more kind of like well cooked green beans, like buttered, salted, spiced kind of vegetables. A little bit hearty, but fresh garden, properly ripened, not supermarket vegetables that we get up here in Canada anyway are pretty much tasteless. If you grow a carrot in the garden, they taste excellent here. But if you buy one at the supermarket, I haven't ever had too many carrots in my life that actually taste like something from the supermarket. But if you get them, if you buy them from local people or you grow them in your own garden, there's tons of flavor, and I don't know what exactly that's all about, but I'm talking about vegetables like garden fresh, properly grown with soil that isn't completely dead. We got pretty good soil up here. I guess some rest time through the winter and stuff. It's not over, and it is fairly fertile in most areas in southern Alberta. We got, according to the people with agricultural degrees that I've talked to, it's pretty kick ass, especially around Tabor. So. It's growing on me a bit. It is quite sour. With the breathe time opening up, I'm glad that it's finally coming around. I left a glass open on the table with the ceiling fan on for a while. It still wasn't there yet. And this has been breathing. Like I just pop the cork and try to drink about down to at least where the bottle gets narrow and then let it decant in the bottle. As I don't have a decanter yet, believe it or not. A little bit of asparagus off the aroma and up front. Yeah, it's really starting to grow on me now. But I mean, 4 hours of breathe time, I think that's certain wines that I've had that take that long. Like you can condition some wines to taste better. Like let's say I did the Torontes from Argentina white wine. Took quite about 5 hours for it to really even get acceptable, in my opinion. And I think if you let that breathe like for 6 hours or 7 hours and then put it in the fridge, you'd have something that might be quite appealing to a lot of people. But that's a lot of work to go through. But I mean, if you can make it happen, make it happen. You know, you get a $11 bottle of wine and you want to make it taste like a $50 bottle of wine, you can make it happen. Hey, as long as you can keep track of that and prepare that. It's growing on me a little bit. There's still a lot of sourness and like mustard-like bitterness through the middle. For $17, I would put a pass on this one. I would definitely be looking for a better Pinot Noir. And you can check my video log. There's at least one or two that definitely fit that description. One from Ontario. Holy shit. Angel's Gate Winery from Ontario. Probably the best Pinot Noir I've ever had in my life. Hands down. Incredible shit. And the Urban Pinot Noir from Germany is really fucking solid. I mean, there's 1 year that I had, I think it was 07 or something, where it was a bad year for them, let's say. And this could be a bad year for them. This 2011 could have been a horrible year for Pinot Noir in New Zealand, so let's not give them too much shit over that. If you know of a different year of this from this brand and this, I've here Ara from New Zealand, Pathway. Let me know, because sometimes that happens. You know, like I just was lucky enough to get a good year with the Urban to know that there is good stuff, and then I just avoided that certain year. It's pretty much all gone now. I haven't seen any. It's like 2010 or 2007 or something. One of those years was bad, but every other year I've had from them has been incredible. So Pinot is a finicky grape, and this could just be a bad year for sure. That is absolutely possible. So let's keep that in mind. So I'm going to just stay away from 2011 Pinot Noir from New Zealand. I'm going to try different years. Maybe I'll try and find something a little bit older or something a little bit newer and see what's happening from them. So folks, beware of the 2011 Pinot from New Zealand. And if you know any different, please post so everyone knows. Let's richen the world of knowledge of wines and beers. Give this a rate. With all the breathe time and everything, you could probably put this at about a 60-point wine. I'm gonna leave lots of headroom with Pinot Noir because I know it can get amazing. So this is definitely not amazing. It's definitely not drinkable right out of the bottle, in my opinion. I think you'd be pretty disappointed if you paid money for this in a restaurant and this is what you got. So that, in my mind, that's not acceptable. Like restaurants really should have wine that is acceptable by 95% of the consumer. Like, and everyone says it's a matter of personal preference, and I think there's a little bit of horseshit in that too. Like there's a lot of wines. I don't care who you are. They're just, unless you don't know any better, they're really not very good. And there's lots of wine merchants pushing shit wine. You go in there, and these are the guys they hire at the till. I don't ask them anymore because they don't know anything. Like they'll tell you to get the worst fucking wine you've ever had in your life. So, and I used to drink wine with buddies all the time, and we all basically agreed on our wines and most of our alcohols in general. There wasn't like a big dispute, amongst. You open a good bottle of wines, one person might like it a lot more than the rest of everyone else, but no one really was like, oh, this awful stuff is amazing. I've only seen that really in the case of a lot of people can't get into Scotch, and a lot of people really like domestic pale lager, and they can't drink any other beer after that. Those are the only two phenomena I've ever seen. Like, you get a good bottle of wine, most people are really going to notice, and if you get a good bottle of most hard liquor, people can tell the difference. Like Jameson, for instance, is not the most fabulous stuff in the world, but people generally like it a lot better than, like Russian Prince vodka or whatever. So anyway, I'm done my rant. About a 60-point wine. Kind of disappointing. And I'm going to move on to new wines from new places. Beerzerker. Sorry. I wish I was more exciting tonight, but I'm out. Yeah!